Have you ever met someone who hides an entire lifetime behind a single smile? Someone who appears ordinary, yet carries secrets that could make even soldiers stand still? This story isn't fiction. It's a story about courage, redemption, and a call sign that once made the skies tremble. And before we begin, welcome to Grow for Justice. If you love stories of real courage and unshakable strength, don't forget to subscribe right now and tell us in the comments. Where in the world are you watching this from? Now, let's begin. The sun was barely up when Flight 218 prepared for takeoff from Seattle. The weather was calm, the sky painted in soft gold. Passengers boarded sleepily. Businessmen, tourists, families, and in the cockpit, Captain Amelia Rhodes sat in silence, her hands steady on the controls. To everyone, she was just another pilot, calm, precise, professional. But there was something about her eyes, the way she scanned the horizon, the way she listened to radio chatter. It wasn't just habit, it was memory. Her co-pilot, a cheerful young man named Davis, was talking about his weekend plans. Amelia smiled politely, responding with short words. But her mind was somewhere else, somewhere far above the clouds, in a sky filled with chaos and noise. Years ago, before the uniform of a commercial airline, she had worn a different kind of wings, the kind earned, not given. Back then, she wasn't Amelia Rhodes, she was Ghost Rider. The name alone once sent chills through the comms of enemy pilots. But that was a lifetime ago. 2 hours into the flight, everything was normal. Passengers sipped coffee, kids watched cartoons, and the cockpit buzzed quietly with air traffic control instructions. Then suddenly, a voice broke through static on the radio, a panicked, clipped military transmission. Eagle command to all nearby aircraft. Possible airspace violation. Unidentified drone near flight path Alpha. Maintain course and report visuals. Amelia frowned. Drones in restricted zones weren't unusual, but this signal sounded different. The frequency wasn't meant for commercial pilots. It was a secured military channel. Davis blinked. How we pick that up? She didn't answer. Her instincts kicked in before logic could. She adjusted the comms manually and listened closer. Static. Then, through the fuzz, came a voice she hadn't heard in over a decade. Repeat, Ghost Rider. If you can hear this, confirm. Her heart stopped. Davis turned to her, confused. Ghost Rider? That's you. She froze. The name she'd buried deep had just echoed through the clouds. Outside, something flickered past the window. Two F-22 Raptors, flying tight formation, engines screaming like thunder. The passengers couldn't see them yet, but Amelia could feel the pressure change, the vibration in the metal. The radio buzzed again. Unidentified civilian flight. This is Falcon Lead of the 22nd Fighter Squadron. Identify yourself immediately. Davis answered first, nervous. This is Captain Davis of Flight 218, commercial route to Denver. What's going on? But the reply wasn't to him. Negative, Captain Davis. We're requesting communication with Ghost Rider. There was silence in the cockpit. Davis turned wide-eyed. They mean you. What's happening? Amelia exhaled slowly, her hand hovering over the switch. They shouldn't even know that name, she whispered. That name died years ago. She pressed the transmitter. This is Captain Rhodes. You have the wrong frequency. But the fighter pilot's voice came back, sharper, urgent, respectful. Ma'am, permission to confirm identity. Are you Ghost Rider, Bravo 6 from Operation Hawk Shadow? The world tilted for her. Memories rushed in. Night skies lit by tracer fire. Engines roaring, her squadron trapped in an ambush over foreign soil. That mission, Hawk's Shadow, was the one that ended her military career and cost her every friend she'd ever flown with. Yes, she whispered finally. I was Ghost Rider. The line went silent for a long moment. Then the voice spoke again, but softer now. Ma'am, it's an honor. You saved my father's unit in that operation. This is Falcon Lead, Lieutenant Chase Reynolds. We owe you our lives. Amelia felt her chest tighten. She remembered that name, Reynolds. She had pulled his father's squadron out of a hot zone under enemy radar 15 years ago. No one had ever known who the pilot was. Until now. Why are you here? She asked. Ma'am, we've intercepted hostile radar signatures. It looks like an old military drone network went active again, and it's on a collision path with your aircraft. Her co-pilot's hand froze over the throttle. You mean we're a target? Not intentionally, Reynolds said, but your plane's in its flight corridor. You've got less than 4 minutes before it crosses you at Mach speed. Davis began shouting coordinates, trying to call air traffic control, but their systems suddenly went down. Radio silence. Amelia took command instantly, her voice steady. Falcon lead, we're losing comms. I'm taking manual. Guide me clear. Yes, ma'am. The two F-22s tightened formation, escorting the commercial jet like guardians of the sky. Passengers below began to panic as turbulence shook the cabin, unaware of what danced in the clouds above them. A duel between life and death. Target at 11 o'clock high. One pilot radioed. Visual confirmed. Rogue drone, heavy payload. It's not responding to command override. Copy, Reynolds replied. Engaging. Amelia watched through the cockpit glass as one of the Raptors peeled off, firing countermeasures, weaving between vapor trails. The drone zigzagged, its sensors flashing erratically. One false move, and the debris could tear through the airliner. Ma'am, hold altitude at 32,000. Amelia's hands moved without hesitation, fluid, precise. Every maneuver was instinct, muscle memory from years of combat flying. Davis could only watch in awe. You're flying this thing like a fighter jet, he yelled. She didn't respond. Her focus was absolute. If I don't compensate, their missile won't have a clean line. Seconds later, a blinding flash tore across the sky. The drone exploded, scattering in a rain of metal that shimmered like broken stars. The F-22s regrouped, circling back toward the jet. The radio crackled again. Ghost Rider, target neutralized. You're clear. Amelia exhaled, her hands shaking for the first time. The passengers erupted into applause, thinking it was just turbulence ending. They had no idea their lives had been minutes from disaster. As the plane landed safely in Denver, emergency crews were already waiting. Not because of an accident, but because the U.S. Air Force had alerted them of who was on board. When Amelia stepped out of the cockpit, she found a small group of officers waiting near the gate. Lieutenant Reynolds was among them, helmet under his arm. He saluted sharply. Ma'am, permission to speak freely? She nodded. My father told me once, he said, voice breaking, that if I ever met the pilot who saved his squadron, I'd thank them on his behalf. You're the reason he came home. For the first time in years, Amelia couldn't hold back her tears. Tell him, she whispered, I never stopped flying for them. The crowd around her didn't understand who she really was. To them, she was just a pilot who landed another flight. But to the sky, to those who served, she was the legend they called Ghost Rider. That night, alone in her apartment, Amelia opened a wooden box she hadn't touched in years. Inside was a faded patch, her old call sign, wings embroidered in silver thread. She held it in her hand, staring at the symbol that had defined her past. Outside her window, two F-22s streaked across the night sky, their contrails glowing faintly in the moonlight. A silent salute. She smiled softly, whispering into the dark, Ghost Rider, still airborne. And that, my friends, is the story of Amelia Rhodes, Ghost Rider, a name that once vanished in classified files, reborn in the open skies. Sometimes heroes don't need medals or headlines. Sometimes they just keep flying, even when no one's watching. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to Grow for Justice for more powerful and emotional stories like this. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We love hearing from every corner of the world, because here on Grow for Justice, every story reminds us, courage doesn't retire.